one day, whenever.
Forget who it was.
Howdy.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Tom's here.
Mark him down.
Yeah.
I-
Okay.
Present.
Present.
I give him heck all the time.
I know.
Will he do these work?
No, that's right, that's right.
Okay.
No. I'll make it.
I have another pair. That's why I'm
I'll
asking.
go out to my truck. No. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. We Leon, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna flip you right to page 14. So we have discussed the cleaning of these windows and putting the screens in. I did contact our current person on the $500 is exactly what we need.
Okay.
Okay? So let's flip to 18. So transfer station is asking for plowing of where their hot top is. And you asked me to have Randy come here so you can talk to him about that. And he's here.
Alright, so I just want to back up for 1 second. So there was a person previously that was plowing up the road to give access, and then just because of who that person was, plowing the whole place.
Correct,
Okay. Now that doesn't happen,
correct.
right?
Not for the kind of money that we offer.
Correct. So,
It was all meant to be
So the-
just to plow that road to get
so
up
the
there.
current contract, the road gets plowed, and then with the thought that you or your team uses the loader.
Say it again?
So the current contract that we have
Yeah.
plows up, opens the road up.
Yeah.
And probably a little bit just to get,
It goes
Somebody in the
around
park.
building in between and back out.
so then because it was always supposed to be, from what I understand, that then you or your team uses the loader.
Use the loader to plow.
Yeah.
And that can take anywhere between 6 and 10 hours. But that doesn't include putting any salt down after the fact, so that people don't slip and fall.
Are you using the snow pusher that's up there?
Snow pusher, no.
Okay.
Brad says it needs a new thing crossed, and
Blade.
at the same time, when, say I hooked it up, and then Dave comes up because he's doing the town hall and the fire station, load Dave up with salt, I would have to take that bucket off, take the other bucket, put it back on, and then say he used it for here and there, he may be back up to get more salt.
So I guess I want to back up. I want to preface this with, I'm not one way or the other. I just want to make sure that whatever we're doing, like, we're not using a snow pusher box, and we don't need, right?
I'm not using it at the moment because I was told that it needs a new piece across the bottom of it.
Because of blade.
Do we know how much one of those costs?
About $500, I think.
Yeah, that's about
It's
right.
not, it's not huge money. Oh,
Also next
bad.
time.
Okay,
So the idea is to expand the contract to have the person who plows the road getting in to plow all of the blacktop.
And in the previous contract, it stated that when the snow got between like 1 to 3, they would come up, go back through, the different areas, like especially if we're open, so that snow is getting moved, which we can't really run the loader when you got all kinds of people around because people don't pay attention. I mean, I'm not saying the operator doesn't pay attention, it's just people in general. don't
The
pay
safety
attention.
issue.
Mhm.
You're afraid for safety.
So if you're, I'm just curious
Is that-
too, if you're using the loader to push the snow and then somebody comes in, they need sand, like you're saying, because that's part of the reason why it's taking a long time, right? You have to stop pushing the snow, you gotta go load the sand.
That first one that we got was 10 inches, was up there with just the bucket, I can go up, I go around with the snow blower, and blow away from the buildings and stuff. So you're gonna get probably an hour and a half there.
Mhm.
Then I got in the loader, and I, for the most part, did not get out of the loader because we were not open.
Mhm.
When we're not open, there's no issue, but if I'm open, you kinda gotta have somebody going in between, and in front, so, people don't slip fall because you can't really run it while you're open.
Right.
It's just, people, will decide, oh, I gotta get over here, and whether, they cut you off or in behind you.
Well, I think that's the same for a plow contractor as well, right? So the goal would be to have it plowed out before we open, if we're open.
Correct, but I mean, there's days that, it'll start snowing 9 o'clock in the morning,
Right,
and we'll be there till 4, and it'll run,
Right.
I mean, not this year.
Yep.
But in the past,
no, I get it.
I mean, I can plow it, but say, they're talking a blizzard, and it may not be at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're not gonna have happy people if I close that gate and I'm playing in the loader trying to clear the place.
Mhm.
Where with a truck, you're talking half the size of a vehicle as of that loader. Not asking for a truck, I mean, I don't have a problem
No,
doing it.
no,
I'm just trying to make it so there's no issues, if I have to close the gate. Yeah, when Brad was doing it, in the past, he would go up, clear out the spots, where they had to get the recycle on each side
right.
and in front of me, and then he'd be on his way.
Mhm.
Did we only get one quote from one?
Oh, that's better.
So this is a plowing contract, it's already contracted for the road part?
Yes.
For the pass through.
So they'd like to add 6,000 more to it.
Now, is that contracted amount, or is that a storm, each storm, or how
It's
is that,
contracted.
how is it paid, monthly?
Yes,
So whether, if there's no snow and it doesn't get plowed, they still get
Yeah.
the same money?
Or if you get 50 storms.
I've been plowing for a long time, and
Never getting 50
the last
storms.
6 years have been extremely lean,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that pattern's gonna change, of course, who knows, but I don't know, I just curious.
I think my only concern with this would be that if we're going to change the scope to be that much more, then we put it out to bid.
That's what I was gonna say.
well, yeah, this is just a budget. I mean, we're not at the point to
Awarded, yeah.
So I think
bid it
that's
out.
my only.
So it would have to be
feedback.
over this next year.
So you're really
Do
saying,
you-
with that front end, I guess the big question when we were here last time, we're talking, we're looking at putting money into the front end loader. We have a front end loader up there, and if we're gonna put that money into it, should we be using it as opposed to, snow $6,000 to have somebody up there? But I hear,
My issue is, if we're open, I got that loader running around,
Yeah.
and people don't pay attention as it is up there.
no, I understand that. Oh, I know.
I mean, I try to keep like my guys away from where the cars go, because I've had this car hit this car, because somebody wanted to jump out of the vehicle and talk to somebody.
Will you guys consider selling the snow pusher apparatus? Whatever that's called?
It wouldn't be that much.
I mean, I have no problem plowing it, as long as, there's not gonna be an issue, if, it snows tonight, and say I was gonna be open tomorrow, and the storm goes into tomorrow, when it's just clear, I can open,
Right.
but the other issue is putting the salt down.
The
How is the
current
current-
contract does have a requirement for salt.
Mhm.
I just don't wanna,
How is the
Yeah.
current contract written as far as if it's snowing throughout the day? Is there any language on that? Like, would they come more than once to do the road and
And who does the salting? Dave?
No, the current contract is written to include coming back to salt the whole area.
Oh, the whole
The
area.
whole, after the snow's removed. So they get a path up there and then when they clear it, they're supposed to come back and salt everything.
But then I guess my question is in between, if it's, so they come and they plow the road, we clear up above, we open, but then it's snowing throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything, yeah, that was,
It's- I understand the situation, it does seem kind of silly to me to have it plowed, then he has to come back and salt. Whereas if the person that's doing the road went up there, plowed the whole thing and salted it on the way out, it wouldn't be, there's no safety issue then. we've done what we can do to keep it, and then like,
I mean, the contract was very kind of vague, but it kind of, mentioned, 1 to 3, you come back, in certain conditions, like if we're closed, okay, you can wait until you got X amount and then plow.
I mean, yeah, you just do it.
Yeah,
So I guess it would be.
That was the old contract.
We'll really look at the contract closer.
Yeah.
When it's time to bid it.
So if we put the money in the budget, then we can deal with the contract issues. We don't have to hash that out tonight.
Nope.
I see the problem. I understand it.
I mean, when we're closed, I'll plow the thing, I have no problem with that, if you guys wanna put it out that it's done by storm, that I need them.
I think we
If
have a
we-
harder
if-
time.
Yeah, we would
Yeah, if we do it this way,
Yeah.
we'll figure that out.
And that's just, say, hot top area, I don't mind helping the guy, what,
I think that you would still have to snow blow and clean up the residual from the plowing. And that shouldn't be
This as well.
too big of a deal,
and
as far as,
down back, I'd rather do that myself than have somebody do it.
so that's what I'd do, and put it in, and then I think that we are wise to mention, rebidding it, which is unfortunate, because you just contracted that recently, right?
Was it for, how long was the contract for?
I'll say 3 years, yeah, we've done 3 years.
We're
But
also
there's a
changing the
clause
scope.
for cause.
Yeah,
Like, we're changing the scope, it doesn't mean that the same vendor won't get it.
and they'll get notice, and they can also bid on it.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They're gonna be
Yeah.
invited.
Like, would be that same company.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
So the consensus is to leave it in there and move it forward.
Yes, and that's what I would,
Yeah.
that I would say,
So I think it would be pretty hypocritical of me to go against any safety concerns.
because it has nothing to do with anybody's performance at the moment.
Oh, no.
It has to
Yeah.
do with expanding the scope of work. So,
Yeah. And then you clarified it more, our question last meeting was, we got a piece of equipment. Or, where's the best place to spend the money? You explained it well.
And so just so that I understand, what do we use the piece of equipment for? So
I mean,
So you would plow down back, let's say,
I
right?
plow down back, I
Yeah.
use that, you save when I use that to crush the bins.
Okay,
All your open tops, if we didn't crush them, they would go out with probably, we'll say.
Less weight than
Yeah,
they go out with
that's
now.
right, but I'm gonna say,
yeah, and I'm not,
You know.
please, let me just preface, like, I'm not challenging like
Yeah.
having it, I just wanna understand why we have it. So if somebody says, hey, Jessica,
And-
why the heck do we have a loader if we're not plowing?
the other is,
I can say, well, we do this, we do this. we do
where
this.
they can't push the snow back,
Yeah.
we push the snow back, I just want it off the tap. From there, I'll push everything back, beyond. I have no problem with that.
Could we have some snow like that?
I would
please?
love it if we did.
Yeah, could we
No.
please?
That would be awesome.
No,
And the ground would be frozen would be nice.
Yeah,
If our contract now says they come in and go around and plow, who plows the rest of it?
Now,
What now, while we're waiting for this addition of the contract?
that loader does, they do.
You're doing it all now? Okay, until we do a new contract.
Correct.
Okay, so
I have no problem with doing it.
and
Since
since we have no snow, we're doing well.
My biggest issue was the salt, putting the salt down, because you try, I tried one of the storms out of curiosity, throwing sand down. I was tired at the end of the day.
no, if I hand sand my
Oh,
vet clinic,
God.
it takes me an hour and a half climbing in and out of the truck,
Yeah.
shoveling it off.
But. I won't do that.
No worries.
What's the sand on Dave's?
Dave's,
Yeah.
Dave's got, takes roughly one full bucket of what I got.
And is that for his own business to?
That is for the town hall and the fire station. That's
So
it.
we
Oh.
did offer Dave the transfer station contract too, but he, I think, had too much work, he couldn't take it on. He's-
But now he's interested.
is he? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just
okay.
saying to get through this year.
Yeah.
You
I
don't-
mean,
you don't
he
shovel.
has been helping me out up
Yeah.
there where, it's like Dave, I haven't seen the guy, the parking lot's done, while I'm loading, can you throw what you got left in the truck, on my parking lot? And he's done that, and then I reload him,
Right,
I'm going to get his bucket,
right, and to Vicky's point, that's a weird thing, so I don't think it's necessarily like on the vendor, because they don't necessarily
No, not at
know
all.
it's done, it's just a weird
but I have,
arrangement.
It is.
when it comes up, and I'm not trying to pick it because he works for me, but that guy has got, we'll try to do the best for you on anything that you
Oh,
guys ask
absolutely.
him to.
Yeah.
And, been encouraging him to bid on it, and I look at it, if he did, say, get the contract down the road, I can guarantee the salt only goes to there, here, and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes out and he buys sand for his customers.
Oh, yeah. I just, well, the way the winter's going, we're not gonna have, if it keeps
Correct.
going the way it's going, we're not gonna have that, but we gotta get through this year. I just wonder you have that, once you're out there getting hurt shoveling salt.
Oh, you ain't gotta worry about me.
Okay, good.
Alright.
Perfect.
10 years, we'll talk about it.
Okay. Are you
Okay,
Tom?
so we're gonna move it forward.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, page 21.
Sorry, I want to talk about the loader, I'll go there. Did we look at any point in time, did we look at any of the, like, instead of sandblasting down and repainting the whole thing, did we look at any replacement of the specific pieces? Because those are all like bolt-on type parts.
Oh, I think that's
The
good.
whole,
I'm just, I've seen it, I'm just asking if we even looked at that, that's all.
I haven't looked at, getting this because when you get into the cab, you can see that it's starting to eat its way into the cab.
Okay.
So I talked to the guy, he told me it will leave, and when it comes back, it will be looking brand new.
Okay.
It will, like the floor on it, he says, I'm not gonna order a floor, he says, we will remanufacture. And I went to his website, I looked at pieces of equipment that, when they came in, looked 10 times worse than that, and when they left, looked beautiful.
Okay.
And he also uses a paint that is like an anti-salt, it
Yep.
guarantees X amount of thousands of hours,
Mhm.
of it being on it.
I was asked that, so I said I would ask.
So,
21, sorry.
another thought, while we're talking about that, and I learned it from somebody in this town, which I thought was an awesome idea, to undercoat the inside on the floor.
Yeah, there's
Okay, they
things that are
spray it.
available.
Mhm.
It's something you have to keep reapplying. It doesn't
Yeah.
last. But it's better than the rubberized undercoating because that just traps stuff,
Yeah.
in my
Keep
experience.
it from getting onto.
I think the biggest issue with that loader is, before we got it, it sat in the salt shed in Kennybunk Port for X amount of years. It did not, get bathed or anything.
Do we have a power washer up there?
I have one at my house that, summertime, I'm at right now, hoses freeze and stuff, but I will have and be using.
Okay.
I mean, it's not town's, it's mine, I have no problem with that.
Randy, you also have money in this year's budget for tools.
I know, I'm kind of sorry, I try not to spend any money until I know there's more money coming, and it's like, okay, if nothing breaks, go ahead and do this.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so transfer station, you guys put out to bid the hauling. You awarded it the other day. I was asked to put together, a side-by-side comparison of the hauling contracts. So if you look for the hauling contract paper that I gave you.
Oh, good, thank you. I'm the one that requested that, to see in full disclosure, because the other night it was 60,000, 40,000, 16,000. I was running the meeting, so I just heard a lot of numbers. And then when I had problems with emails last week, and when I got home and the next day, I think I was able to get in, and I read the email from Lindsay, and had to the documentation from Randy that really concerned me. And after the presentation, it concerned me. And then,
There was one other thing I got thinking about too. So I sent, because technically you award it to them. The contract does say that you have to meet all the requirements, federal, state, local requirements for those types of vehicles to be running on the road. So he did say he has 3 trucks, whatever drivers, so he needs to provide like proof of insurance and everything and liability for all those trucks and that they are running on the road.
Okay.
Inspections too.
Inspections, all that. I have a feeling he might only have 1 truck that's running. He did say that he rolled a truck. So if there's trucks out of commission, I'm not sure. He'll have to verify that. So I don't know if he has 3 operational trucks. He might own 3 trucks.
And I think it makes sense, I think you indicated in another email that you spoke to him and kind of went back and forth on some of the communications. And I just want, my reason for awarding the contract the way we did is we didn't have any formal communication from the town, like any sort of documentation, like a letter that says, hey, we have a contract with you, you are not performing because of X, Y, Z. Be on notice.
Right.
You know,
And I think that's
we could
fair.
terminate for cost. I think just at the onset of this, if they meet all the requirements, we vote it, whatever, I think we do need to be clear, because there still seems to be some verbal confusion the other night about the weekend thing.
Yeah.
But if you look at the spec that we put out, it said the hours on the transfer station, but it also said pickups within 24 hours, including weekends. It was very clear on
Yes.
that. So I think putting that in writing to just be very clear right out of the gate, so that then if that doesn't happen, it's boom, done. Like,
Yeah, I'm just, just concerned if he only has 1 truck that's running. I mean, well, I'll wait and see what he comes back
Well, if
with.
he only has 1 truck that's running and isn't performing, then that's
Yeah.
cause, right? And I'm not looking for something, I see vendor relations and contract relations similar to employee relations, so it's documentation and it's communication and it's all the same things. So,
but the other reason you said it the other night was because of cost.
Yep.
And you were like $40,000. That was the
yeah, and then
difference.
somebody said the 16.
That's why I said, it
Yeah.
kind of went all over the place, so
Yeah.
that's why I was like,
Even if it was
and,
16, I'd still go cost on that.
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
documentation
Me too,
support.
and,
That's my
okay,
goal.
no,
The other one,
I wouldn't.
the other one, the resubmission, that felt a little janky to me.
Yeah, I have an issue with that, but that's different, so.
It's a different issue.
All right, then we'll just, thank you for doing that, now we know.
Now, the other night, there was also confusion on calls.
Hmm.
On Thursday night, okay, he may get a phone call saying, you've got a full can. But there's times that when I leave, it's not full, because past boards told Dave, they'd rather see him up there at night dumping his stuff. I have no clue, when he gets done at 11 o'clock at night, how much he's put in the can. So that's why Dave makes phone calls to him on a regular basis, because at 11 o'clock, I don't want to hear from Dave.
Yeah,
I understand.
it's fair.
So he makes the call, hey, I've got a can for you tomorrow, or hey, can you get in because I just filled this can and they need it.
And
Yeah.
Going back to the bid process though, I mean, once you guys open the bids, it's public knowledge.
Yeah.
So you could have, in some cases, bidding wars. Because people come, now it's open knowledge, this is what you bid.
This is
Right.
what you bid, it's done, unless we put it out to bid again.
But you can negotiate.
I mean,
It
he did
says
have,
in the RFP,
Yeah,
you
it does
can
say that.
negotiate.
one of his drivers did come by the transfer today that lives over on the side road, 1 road up from here, that
Who's on
used to
my
be
road?
my driver. And he told me, he says, I'm trying to fix Sean's problem of being able to service you on weekends.
We gotta, so we, I don't feel good about like keeping on this, I think we landed
Okay.
where we landed, I hear the issues, I don't disagree, I just also don't wanna get us in a position where vendors are calling saying, why are we having these conversations? So.
Okay.
just make
Thank
sure
you.
what we-
So I gave you that information, we've had some conversation. Transfer station, so I switched on the very first line, I changed the wired bundle that we bring to Berwick Iron and Metals from a different line. So that's why that number's up.
Where are you again?
Okay, bottom of page 21.
Still digesting the other one. Go ahead.
So the very first section, you'll see that there's an increase there. The biggest increase is that I moved the transferring of wire bundles that we bring to Berwick Iron and Metals from a different line. I put it into the contracted service line because we pay for somebody to do that. And that's the difference there. Can rental is staying the same.
Can we talk about that too?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a little point of contention for me also, that I've been told. And if you guys don't want to discuss it now, we can discuss later. Is this place to talk about this can rental that we have out there? We're paying for a can rental,
We pay for 4 can rentals.
but we have an extra one.
There's supposed to be a spare there. Right now, yes, there is a spare, but at times it vanishes.
There's my problem. Where does it go?
So, a job site here, a job site there, and then,
Our job site?
No.
It's not our job site.
correct.
So a can that we're paying for is going to another job site to make more money. That's wrong.
So let's document
That's right.
it, 'cause I don't disagree, that is wrong.
So do you mean spare? I just want to clarify, spare by, you have 4, so one of them is a spare rating?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that, what,
Yeah, there's 4, not 5.
Yeah, mine's gonna stay.
But I have 3 bins that we
Yeah.
use regularly.
and then a
if something
spare
happens,
for the 4.
I have customers drive around out back.
Out
and
back.
We have to toss it.
Yeah.
up in.
Yeah. It's your backup. Yeah, okay.
Mine is back.
Yeah.
And all
Not
that
Randy's.
stuff.
No, but not like,
Yeah, no,
Or
it's
backup,
there,
yeah.
it should be there.
Yes.
You know what? Never mind. Yeah, that's, I don't like that.
Well, now we have
I
a
don't
manager, and I think between the 2 managers, we can document a little bit better than what we have in the past. So I think that will help a lot.
I'm redoing my paperwork so I can write and I will inform Lindsay when I have an issue.
Yeah.
And then
because then we communicate.
Yep.
Exactly. Okay, tipping, so tipping for regular waste went from 87.50 to 97.50.
June.
Does this
So-
include like the way that, how the contract works, it's like March to March? Right, so if they say in the bid, it's like year 1 is
In
March.
Eco Maine?
Oh, you're talking Eco Maine, I'm sorry.
Yeah, tipping, sorry.
I saw a waste hauling contract.
Yeah, no, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
So, for tipping, Eco Maine, it went from 87.50 to 97.50. The wood tipping, same thing. The recycle from 45 to 65. And those are your increases there. The people that pick up the monitors and the batteries are now charging us $100 per trip for a fuel surcharge. And they charge us $70 on top of that if they stay for more than like an hour. So that increased as well.
So $70 an hour after the first half hour.
he's
Whatever I
usually
wrote
in
there.
and out
And they,
within the time.
Yeah, I haven't.
they come once a month?
And, when I call. I mean, it's one of them, if I don't get enough TVs, monitors, computers to fill the thing, it could go 3 months and then I make the phone call, hey, I'm just about full, can you please come? They usually show within 3 or 4 days. They're on the ball. And if there was gonna be an issue, I would have the stuff where I have a hand jack and a dog plate, it would be out on the ground waiting for them if, I thought there was gonna be an issue.
Is tipping locked in for like a period of time?
It's with our Eco Maine contract, which is 7/1 to 6/30, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one year. And I can
But they're
tell you
I
that
think they're on fiscal year.
they're on the same fiscal year,
Mhm.
and that's only gonna go up every year.
Oh, yeah, for sure,
They're-
I'm well aware of that, I told you. I was
Like,
looking at negative numbers.
Recycling, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if recycling is another $20 jump next year, and So the TVs that we collect, what do we charge somebody to drop off a TV or a monitor? Is this something that people, that
Yeah.
it's evening itself out?
We actually make on TVs.
Okay,
TV mart, like all the e-waste probably because it's up out what we charge.
It pretty much evens out, yeah.
Once I figure out, there's certain things that we don't charge for, like the light bulbs, but I have somebody that has to package the light bulbs up. Then batteries, I have somebody that has to package those up. You know, we don't charge for them, we make
Okay,
money here and pays for my guys to be in there doing that.
perfect.
So one thing, and I want to point out to Amber in particular, recycling. So the past 6 months, we've had 114 ton. And that's going to translate, if the same 6 months, to 228 tons for the year, which is up from the current year, from the previous year. So I wanted to point that out.
It's
It's
working. It's
working.
Good job, Amber.
Thank you.
Can we put that on a graph now, please?
So-
that does make me very happy.
I have one question for you.
Yes,
Sometime you said you'll be able to meet with the eco people.
yes,
Have my guys come down and have them like here. I
they,
have a tote full of questions.
okay, perfect. They went, there was like their recycling staff left. So they have now rehired their educational staff. And so that's why I was waiting for that to get itself all worked out.
One other thing that might be good, if you look at Waterboroughs, they actually have a video for the homeowners
Mhm.
that they can watch online on the town's website that shows them all the things that they can recycle. It'd be nice to have one for us.
Okay.
You know,
Are you
they
gonna
do-
star in it?
That's a good idea.
Are you gonna star in it?
No,
Please,
it's a
it'll be
lady
so
from
fun.
Eco Maine.
It'll be so fun, Randy.
I'm gonna wear a mask. then.
Please no.
Okay, moving on from
Sorry.
that. So into hauling and to answer Lindsay's question. So what I did, if you look at the line, I went from July until April and then anticipated the increase, from July until end of February, and then anticipated the increase for March, April, May, and June. I did add in the fuel surcharge. I don't know how that's gonna shape up, but. So the number of trips I have is 330 for this. Looking at my long spreadsheet here, that seemed to look like a good number of trips. So if you take the total dollar amount on the top chest, divide by 175, you get the total number of trips. So total increase is gonna be 10,000. Because I felt like we could lower some of our tipping. Because that has evened out.
When you say that 10,000, you're talking about the total at the bottom of the top of page 24.
Correct.
What's health and wellness for $500?
So we have that in there, in the event that something happens, somebody gets pricked by a needle and needs to go to Southern Maine,
Okay.
things like that.
Mhm.
You know, eye splash stations, training, you know, bloodborne pathogens, training, all that fun stuff.
We do all that, right? We're, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, cool.
Not at this moment,
Moving along.
not at this moment.
This is a budget workship, I'll stick
This
to the
is
topic.
budget, please,
Thank you.
yes, focus.
You
You got caffeine in this tonight? or-
This is a little, this is not, I'm toning it down, come on, Jerry.
Drink faster.
Wow.
Tom,
Yes, sir.
that sheet you're looking at is December. All those figures. are-
The sheet? Is this from you? Nice job.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, I was looking at it. He was comparing what you were talking about. I want to make sure it was, because the prices were wrong.
So that's for the compactor, which is in the reserve section, which is where we're gonna go next if you guys have any other questions on transfer station
I do
in
not,
general.
I do not.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, so let's move on to page 25. Under the reserve, transfer station compactor replacement reserve, which is something new that we've been throwing around and talking about. One of our fabulous residents, Mr. Ken Burke, did a bunch of investigation into this, you know, with helping, trying to help the budget committee. So I handed his findings out to you.
Mm.
Looks like this.
Like in the colors, thank you.
Nice job.
Love colors.
So he ran through a bunch of numbers, and what's really interesting that he pointed out to me is if you go to the very last page, transfer info fact sheet. So waste compactor in 12-13, correct me if I'm wrong, 12-13 was 18,000. In 2024, they're estimating it to be 35,000. The life expectancy on that is 20 to 25 years. So we're halfway through our life expectancy
Mhm.
on our compactors. So they can recondition our existing compactors, and we will get another 20, 25 years out of our existing compactors for $12,000 per compactor.
Wow.
Fantabulous.
The cost to redo the two trash ones would be more than the ones for the recycle, because when you dump trash in, you get what happens to those, the floors wear out in them.
Yep.
Because they're going back and forth, and all the crap that goes in there, it wedges, it cuts the steel and stuff, and that's why the major part of it. So you're gonna get a longer period of time out of the recycles than you are out of the, but the average is 20, 25 years for all of them, so. And those were all new, we put them in 10 years ago. We bought 4 compactors 10 years ago.
Has it been 10 years?
I know, right? It has been.
So,
I remember we were doing that.
2013, we inaugurated that or dedicated that November 13th, 2015.
Wow.
he showed me the clipping, it was cool. You were in it.
I was.
Yeah.
I was on the board then.
Wow.
So is the 10,000 for reconditioning, is that for the recycling containers? Oh,
The
okay.
cost.
And then the
if you have to
12,000 would be for
replace
the trash.
Floors in them, the cost of steel now is, the hydraulics is no problem with, the motors and sort of stuff. The other thing he did say was that we should be doing a yearly maintenance contract on them, so we can pick up this stuff as we go along, rather than having a bunch of them. You know, Spread it out rather than lump it.
Would that
So-
mean, sorry,
We do have money in the transfer station budget, loader, town-owned remaining, compactor maintenance, we have 3830 in there. So,
Which is contract, which
Yeah,
would
we
be
don't-
Maintenance contract.
we have maintenance done on it.
I was wondering if, since this is a new reserve for the transfer station compactor replacement, what if we changed the name of it?
Just say transfer station compactors,
Yes, and then
we can definitely do that.
then if we chose to take the route of rebuilding, we could do that. Or if we needed to replace it, if we thought it was a better value, we could do that. And not have to take it back to the people,
That's why we're bringing it to you.
just for the, I mean, we don't have to do it to get the money.
Yeah,
Ken, this is really good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you for doing that.
Meeting with the gentleman that did this, okay, next Friday, 10 a.m., Friday, March 3rd, to come up and do a complete reevaluation of what we have, so we get some idea of what's going on. Just to,
Like current condition assessment.
yeah,
Mhm. That's fabulous.
Yeah, thank you.
Does he do maintenance also?
he's the company.
They do.
He did.
He's the company that sold it to us, he's the company that we've done business with, and he's the best people to do the maintenance with.
And like when they ripped all the wires out, his company came in, fixed all the wires,
Yep.
put new sensors up
They,
and
they
stuff.
moved the containers for him when they did the head wall up there and everything this year, so.
So when you were talking about having a preventative maintenance plan on it or something, have we been doing that?
Yes.
Okay,
so
Good.
that's a win. everyone.
Yeah.
That's a
we
win.
should talk about a long term.
Yeah.
But
Should have scheduled for it.
This is awesome, thank you. both.
Just
Well, the
regular
schedule got
maintenance
pushed
stuff.
off this year
Yeah.
because we had loader issues, and it's like, I don't know what that's gonna cost me. So instead of doing it in, say, August or September, it's like that loader's acting up. I'm waiting on the maintenance until I know that I have a budget coming in, so just in case.
So you want to move forward with Vicky's request to change it from transfer station compactor replacement reserve to transfer station compactor reserve? And do you want to stick with the 7,500?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
that's a dual yes for me as well.
Nice.
Okay, so before, you guys had, there was 70,000 in CIP. Lori, Lindsay and I sat down today, we had a long discussion about the assessing tables and the market analysis. There are two different things. Do you wanna go first? Do you want me to?
I'll let you go first.
Okay,
Where do I find that?
so if you turn to page 26, I move this into a reserve account.
Ooh.
And it's bolded, and it says assessing table updates. Okay, in your packet, we pulled up one of the tables, and it looks like this. This is one of the trio tables.
Okay.
There are three of these. We only gave you one. We didn't want to overburden you. If you want all three, let us know. We'll get them out to you. But you see some of the information here that is pertinent to how a assessed value is done. There are two things. There's the market analysis, and then there's these tables, okay? Each one of these tables is a scenario. If it has dormers, if it had, I don't know, you're gonna laugh at me, I don't know, tin roof, whatever. She would code one of these key codes on your left into the file of the home or building, and it would do a calculation based on these tables in the background. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I bought my house in 2019. I can now sell it for $150,000 more than what I purchased it for. That's how far behind we are. And everybody's feeling the exact same pinch. And when she talks about this 100%, 69%, where are we? That's a factor in there. Are we going good so far?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's a factor. Two things need to be done. We need to do a market analysis update, and we need to do the table update, the assessing table updates, to get caught up to being 100% or being closer to 100%. Now, somebody might want to kill me. I'm going to try to get this right. So what does it mean when we're less than 100%? We saw it this year when she did the assessing. Say your homestead is $100, okay? That's at 100%, your homestead reimbursement. So not having our market analysis done or our cost tables done and caught up to a reasonable time period, that $100 now becomes $80. So instead of $100 being applied to your tax base, only $80 is gonna get applied to your tax base, which means the other 20 is gonna come from your tax base. Is that making a little sense?
Yep.
Okay, this is done by professionals pretty much everywhere. So this would be an outside company. She had another assessor in another town who's done probably 8-10 pounds. And he gave her a formula to use. That's where she comes up with the $70,000. Formula is 2,895 parcels, which it's only climbing as people split off their lots, on $25 to $27 a parcel is what it takes to update this. So that's where she comes up with the $70,000. In this year's budget, we have money in CIP to have, we put a person's name on it, but to have some assessing help. That is with the market tables. So when we sat down today, we said, all right, 70,000 hurts. How can we do this? Our plan is, if she doesn't, because all of the assessors right now are trying to catch up to this, to the market analysis, to the $150,000 on capital gain. So she's been desperately trying to find somebody who can help her with the market analysis piece of it. And she hasn't been able to do that so far. So there is money in there to do that. Our plan, as we discussed this morning, is to ask the taxpayers to roll over any balance in the current fiscal year to the new fiscal year for the market analysis. Then what we'd like to do is ask for half for fiscal year 25 at 37.5, and then the other half for fiscal year 25-26, the other half. That way, on 7/1/26, 25, sorry, she's right. She's always right, that's why she's the boss. 7/1/25, we have all of the money, and we have the time period to make this happen before we hit below the 70% the state does not like to see us at.
So, and I want to touch a little on the time period because she broke that down to us. Because you guys had asked, like, where are we with the revow? So we were at 89%, I think she said. And so she thinks by fiscal year 26, we'll be at 69%. She can give us a buffer, like she was explaining. So we are going to fall below, but she can buffer it and say, I thought she could bring us up to like 75% or
Yeah, something around
79
there.
for this next fiscal year, which will, we're okay. But then by fiscal year 26, she's predicting we're gonna be below the 70%, which is what the state requires us to be above that. And that's gonna be where we see some hurt. So that's why we kind of developed this plan around a time frame of if we can get to fiscal year 26, we hopefully can outsource and get caught up. So because she won't be able to buffer the 10% after this next.
Yeah, there's
So
no,
those-
that's a one-time.
Those percentage predictions are if we just stay status quo and do nothing.
Right.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you. That's what I was
I'm
gonna.
like,
Yeah,
hold on a
right,
second,
that's what
I
I was
don't wanna
about to
spend
ask
all
too.
this money and
So
be
in
at
2 years, we're
69%.
down to 69,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
if we leave it just as it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
If we leave it as it is, we'll-
that's. the
she's
scenario.
predicting we'll be at 69%, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
That's, it's not a reval, it's not a full reval like you think, it's what we call a mini reval, catch up to market. So that's where we would be. Our plan that we put together, we put it together so that there would be enough time to get the cost tables done before we hit that 69%.
Right?
And the other thing we discussed this morning is everyone's doing it. So we would put together, if this is something you want to move forward with, we would put together an RFP early on and with the contingency of funding. So that way, July 1st, 25, we can hit the ground running, get the tables done, miss that time frame.
July 1st, 25, fiscal year 25?
Fiscal year
This
26.
Fiscal year 26.
Okay. Just needed to make sure I'm tracking
Yeah,
calendar
no,
versus
that's okay.
fiscal.
We talk about the real estate values going up. What happens if they tank? Do we,
Well, the reval is always 2 years behind. So like, that's the way Lori explained it. It's like you're not revaling to today's current market. You're bringing it up to the current market 2 years, 3 years, 2 years
okay,
ago.
all right, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So when you guys did your full reval, we did it they started in 2019, in the fall of 2019. They were using market data from 2 years prior to that. So
Oh.
it's kind of worse than you think.
I wasn't aware.
We have some. If we were to, since all the towns are doing this, they're all
They are.
scrambling. Even if we were to say, put $70,000 in there, we get it approved. And probably wouldn't be able to find anybody to get it all done with $70,000 in a short period of time.
Well, that's why we want to start
And
writing an
that's-
RFP
Right.
early on.
Well, that, yeah.
So we
but-
get lined
but I
up.
just didn't, I'm just trying to look at, I like the
Mhm.
plan that you have. I just wouldn't want to, if we wanted to say, if people would be like, geez, we really need to get this done. Even if you had $70,000, you couldn't get anybody to do it, why have all that money sitting there?
Well, with the RFP, we're hoping to hold somebody.
Yeah.
So then
Okay.
we would kind of specify in the RFP, this is
Okay.
for fiscal year 26. So if they're quoting us now, hopefully. we can-
So it's kind of here's future work for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And your calendar's already full, like
You're booked out.
you're booked out. So hopefully we're booking you out far enough that we can actually obtain you at that point.
Is this something that could be done with other towns, or is this something that's strictly ours?
I
Like,
think,
if everybody's doing it, we work with other towns in some things. Is it,
I think there's a struggle with assessing maybe because of like the volatile market, and then you have like shortages of, labor and assessors and whatever. She's
yeah,
had a really hard time trying to get someone like, even another town just to shadow her and kind of show her a couple things that she could do on her own. They're so busy with their own town that she's struggled getting someone to do that. And then one of the other things that I've learned too in talking with like other towns and town managers and such, like you go to some of these other areas like Auburn, Lewiston, they're growing really fast. Housing market up there is a little different than ours, but they'll do a revow, and because of the growth booming so much, they have to turn around and do a revow again.
Right.
So all these towns are really impacted by this whole market. I think there's different things factoring in. You have like labor shortages. It's not like there's assessors out there all over the place. And then you have the market volatility.
I'd like to talk about what Vicky just asked. And we might be able to. The problem is that it has to be another town in this area who uses Trio as their assessing tool. Not a lot of towns do.
My instant thought process in that question was our neighbor's Dayton, because, and that's what I was thinking.
Well, she's been trying to shadow Dayton. And she's so straight up because she has other towns besides Dayton, because they hire out on that one. And she has several other towns that she's talked to her several
Well, I was
times.
thinking, any town nearby that is close to us
Yeah.
demographic wise
Yeah.
would be what I was thinking, but I mean, I could be a totally off the wall question, but I'm just trying to think of ways to make it
And
happen
that's-
for us.
Yeah,
That's
no,
all.
I hear you.
That's one of the things that we found too when we were searching to replace the assessor, was that a lot of towns are going to that model of, it's like a sort of professional, personal services contract kind of a thing, so one person might be the assessor for Dayton and like have like 3 or 4 towns that they're contracted as the assessors, they don't necessarily have an office in the town hall, they're just providing that service to that town.
Oh,
Our interim assessor that we had when to do the main valuation report, it took a lot for me to get him to come here, even just for a few hours a day. I had several conversations. I know some people who own massive businesses in this kind of industry. I talked to some of the previous owners, you know, I talked to him and said, hey, so-and-so said to call you, and, you know, it was, no, we're too busy. His wife does it too. You know, we're too busy. And I'm like, so the second time around, I'm like, please, 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 you know, we've got to do the MVR. We've got to set our tax rate. That's how busy they are. And I totally get it, and it's worth looking into.
There's just not a lot of them.
Well, I like your plan, at least we have a plan. That would
Yeah.
be nice.
sounds like a plausible, I mean, it sounds like a very well thought through plan. You guys, that was a productive meeting.
Yeah.
It's
I like
awesome.
those.
I do too.
Thoughts on that? Do you want to move it forward to budget committee?
I kind of think that we would be irresponsible if we didn't. In a way, I mean, you can only try to save yourself so much money. And then you're
Before
you're
budget?
screwing the services of the townspeople that have entrusted us to do a job. And I don't want to do that.
You can also try and save for so long before it's gonna come back and bite you.
But, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what the fines would be, we don't know, you know, what.
I don't want
what
to
the-
find out. I like to
I don't
fly
either.
under the radar, yeah.
do you have a sense of what the rollover would be from one year to the next?
What?
What we have, what would roll over to
Put
the
down 37.5.
The
37,000?
37.5. So
Oh,
there's
awesome.
two parts. I know it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
2 parts, market analysis.
Yeah.
Which is what we have in the budget right now, that she's trying to get somebody to help her with. And we're gonna roll that over.
Yeah.
Because that has not been spent.
Yeah.
So we're gonna ask to roll that over, whatever we have in here. And then on the 37.5 is for the table update. So we would roll 37.5 on July 1st, 2024. We would put 37.5 in there if it's approved by the voters. And then July 1st, 2025, we'd put the other 37.5 in there for our 70.
I have a question or a comment. The other night when people came to the public hearing and I think it was said that they would rather see us hire or have people help the assessor rather than have that flyover. Is this something that an assistant to the assessor could potentially, that would be the person, I want to say him or her's job,
We did talk about that a little bit, and I think with the table updates, it's more of a contracted professional services because it's not something that we're gonna get a part-time person off the street to come in and like key in this data, because it's very convoluted but I did talk about, maybe what would help, what task could she alleviate herself so that she can block out more time for X? And, something like going out and doing the on-site visits, sending somebody to do, taking pictures or measurements, it's one of those things that she could delegate that. Or, so we did touch on it a little bit. I think, she didn't feel like she needed somebody to like file paperwork or, do those kinds of things. But, she has templates for letters, so she didn't feel like she needed so much of the administrative piece. I think maybe the field work coming in takes up her office time so that she can't devote it to
So
doing
that would be
stuff.
where a position could be created, and then it would be helpful.
Yeah.
Good.
And
But we're coming up to that.
I understand, and I know we are, I just,
Yep.
that was touching on the will of the people.
Sure.
So
That was,
on something like the table updates and the market analysis, to kind of throw it in there, that would be like hiring an accountant when you really need I had it a minute ago.
oh my word.
Yeah, when you really need an actuary. Does that make sense? Okay, so I can't see where something like a helper could help with something like this. But doing some of the more mundane things, absolutely.
So you said about rolling over what we had left from this fiscal year. What do we have left right now?
We have, and I don't think any of it's been spent. I just gotta find it, Amber, I'm sorry.
Oh, fine.
I was right on the right page. We put in, where am I? 20,000. Y'all laughing at me squinting because I have small writing, eh?
So we'd have 90,000 at the end of that second year with 3750, 1 year, 30.
It's two different things.
Right.
Okay, so the money that we
So
have
the
now would roll
20,000
over, that would go to the market.
Market analysis. No,
Okay.
this is not the market analysis. This is the date, that table update.
20,000 on the table.
Okay, 20,000 to the table.
20,000 for market.
27.5.
And then the 2 for the market would be 70.
No,
20,000 for the market analysis. And the 70 is the table update.
Okay, but that's 2 years.
Correct.
Okay. But the
Instead
market would,
of saying 70 right off the bat, we're like, okay, how can we make this less painful?
okay, but the market analysis, that would be something you guys would put the RFP out.
the table,
We'd just like to find somebody.
yeah, the table updates
Because
is
that's
what we're
the
trying to
biggest
do an
problem.
RFP for. The market analysis, I think she's been trying to get somebody, trying to find if it's another assessor or somebody who can help shadow her a little bit.
Okay,
But she's just struggled to.
but
get-
just rolling that over for that purpose.
Yeah.
37.5, 2 years for the table update, which is
Correct.
RFP. Okay, just
Correct.
want to make sure it's
And
all,
the 20 is rolling forward just for the market.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the plan.
So pretty. Not as pretty as Ken's paper.
Nice
but-
job.
Okay.
So is that something you want to move forward?
I don't want to, but I really think it's
Right.
necessary.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
So yes.
good plan.
Okay.
Thank you for
all right.
thinking outside the box.
Hey, we got our moments. I just give Lindsay some coffee and we're good. So the next one on the same page is capital improvement. The budget committee came back with a recommendation of 0. And you guys had asked me to put together on what have we spent that money on in the past.
Where are we at?
It-
This is a little add, this is a little
The last page that
addition
was-
here.
Yep.
This-
Last page.
Yeah, there we go.
We keep the paper industry in business.
Yes, we do.
Oh, we do that, for sure.
Yes,
So I went back through to 2014, and I told you what we put in for a budget, and I told you what we've spent it on for different things.
So, 2024 budget 15, expense 0.
To date. Yep.
So, but is that not any of the things that, I think I'm mixing up my accounts here. Capital reserve?
This is just capital improvement, which I said, I dated it back to like the late 1960s.
But that's separate than cap, so here's what I'm thinking of, we took a vote at one point to fix the stairs on the concessions at Buckinghamam.
That
It will
got
be
held
through
up.
there.
It will come out of there.
But because it hasn't been done and paid for, it's not on the expense yet.
As of the date that I went and looked for this.
Perfect, that's
And-
fine,
and
that's why I
then-
just wanna make sure this is the
Yeah.
same account. Okay.
in the
Yeah.
last meeting, didn't we take the money for the
Doors,
security system?
Correct,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
So there is gonna be some money.
So there is gonna be
There will
some,
be.
yeah.
there will be, but you were wondering what we've
And
spent
what-
it on in
and
the
that's why,
past.
yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Just wanna make sure. Just want to-
You've been doing this all day, Jess.
Me too, just with different budgets and
No, I know.
very different numbers.
I know.
Okay.
I mean, does-
So when the budget committee said, no, we're gonna revert back with 0, their issue was because there was no plan.
I get it. But just like everything else, plan for taking care of the front end loader. Don't zero it out and say, just because we don't have a plan, let's get a plan together. We got a generator outside that is under
Yeah, it's
power.
not, yeah, it's not powering.
It's not powering the place. Which we had expenses because of the power outage and cooked some of our IT equipment.
Yeah.
Because we didn't. So we really should take a look at the
Maybe.
capital improvements plan.
Right, and that's there's a lot of things that I know Lindsay has been working on, just because you guys haven't had a town manager.
Yep.
And I know that's been helping her with it. Capital improvement, long-term 5-year, 10-year, is on the list. And we're
Nice.
trying to shoot her down as,
And I know
One
in
by
years
one,
past,
so-
everybody was scared to use capital improvement money. Remember several
Yeah,
years ago,
yeah.
oh, no, we can't touch that. It was like, that's it.
well,
That is
I
what
think-
it's there for. We have to
Exactly.
take
Yeah.
care of what the town
Yeah.
owns.
and I also think there was a misconception. When I first came here, people thought that the reserve account couldn't be used unless there was a vote. But it was actually the opposite. So the state law says that you guys are the fiduciaries unless it's said otherwise in the article. So if you write an article and you say, okay, let's go back to transfer station compactors. Okay, would you put in $7,500 for the transfer station compactors? But only the transfer station manager can spend that money. Do you see the difference? Then you guys can't.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, but I've gone back and Becca helped me, our new person here, who's wonderful, went back and helped me go back through the years And we looked at every single article to see if it ever said that in any of these reserve accounts, and it has not. So that makes you guys the fiduciaries. And I think that was a misconception for quite a long time,
Yep.
was that you can't use it unless it's voted. So now that we've straightened that out, I think that we're on a good wall.
Well,
So that, and I just want to make sure, so on the budget sheet, page 26, this shows that there's a balance of 116,305 as of January 17th in capital improvement.
So you also have your joint meeting where you can sit and discuss
Oh, yeah.
this.
well,
I,
I,
my
I re-
opinion is I wouldn't get rid of it. I wouldn't do it.
I respect the budget committee's work, and I respect the people on the budget committee, and I appreciate that they don't think we have a plan, and maybe we don't have one that's right here where we can grab a hold of it and see it.
Yeah.
But, it's our job to have a plan.
And I think that's where that conversation comes. I get it. They'd say, you don't have a plan, we don't want you, we don't want to,
Yeah.
but
No, I get it.
we're spending some of the money. It's not showing, but we are. It's part of
So
our,
things are
kind of our plan
surfacing.
over here, but if we formalize it, then I
That's
think
what
they
I'm
would
saying, maybe we
look
should
at
do
it
that.
differently. Yeah.
Would we do that, at a regular select board meeting? It'd be an agenda
I
item.
think like the way I would kind of start looking at it is like do an assessment of your properties.
Yep.
You know, look at your town hall. What's the roof look
No,
like?
absolutely.
That's what we used to do with the buildings. It was, when that committee started, it was the building and maintenance committee,
Right, yeah, which
and then it
Well-
turned into buildings and grounds committee.
the charter, yeah, so
One
all
time.
those people appointed to the town hall expansion committee, I think it was, their terms ended and then nobody wanted to do it. But yeah, the buildings and grounds carried over with the charter revision.
I
So
remember
it's
that.
buildings and grounds, which, yeah,
Which, yeah, and I think I made
too.
a blurb on the webpage, like they would, kind of buildings and grounds. They
Mhm.
would
We-
kind of tell you, this is in disrepair, you're, you know,
This is what we did, when that committee was formed, I was on it,
yeah.
and it was one of my first committees I was ever on.
The hardest thing though is getting members to join.
And we were tasked with assessing all the town buildings, what condition they were in.
Mhm.
And a lot of us on that committee had experience somehow in building trades. That's how I met Tom. You came and talked to us at Cousin School because you had worked in,
Oh, asbestos and.
yes.
lead. Yep.
It's one of my favorite things.
It's never gonna go away. Oh, I'm sorry, Ken.
The discussion on this came about through the budget board, because we asked what the balance was, and it was $100,000 in it. So we said, why do we want to put more money into it? Then it came to the fact, we don't have a plan, so why put the money? It wasn't that we didn't want to do it, just that there was money sitting there.
Yeah.
that hadn't been done, and that's where that's my.
So-
take on
Yeah.
what we came
No,
up
but
with.
that's
So-
That's fair.
it's reasonable. Yeah.
and I like the idea of the 5 and 10 year plan. I believe that's in the charter, isn't it? It was in the old one that we had to have a 5 and 10 year plan.
Yeah, it was in the old one.
But I didn't know if it came over, I mean, I could look.
Alright,
Yeah.
so I have to have a 1, a 5, a 10-year capital plan in
Yeah.
my job. And I can tell you the 1-year plan, we're lucky if that stays the 1-year plan based on deferred maintenance and things, choosing us instead.
It does change a lot.
So, but it's important just to at least have that plan, because then the other thing that we've had come up is if certain state funding or federal funding or grant funding or whatever it may be becomes available, then you know what you could do with it. What's the next thing on the list that you would wanna get to?
Yeah, I
And-
think it's just gonna entail like doing some heavy assessment. I don't think we've really done any serious assessment of these properties.
Well, an assessment to Vicky's point of people who are
Right.
familiar in those areas, right? 'Cause-
We did the roof here
Yeah.
when I was on the board before.
And we know the
Oh, that's
transfer
good.
station's in a lot better shape than it was 6 months
Last
ago,
year.
last year, so that we're ahead of the game. And to you, Ken, I understand, 100,000, but these days, $100,000, so, but I 5 and 10, I agree with you, it should be 1, 5, 10, to say it, and so we need to keep
Five
that
and
up.
10 are wish lists.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
But look how long we've been trying to prioritize our roads.
Yep.
We've been doing that for years and haven't got anywhere with it yet. That's a program that,
Well, I think it takes.
okay, wait a minute, Ken, we got Oscar Littlefield done, okay? Took 10 years, but we got it done.
10 years, yeah.
That was longer
I
than
was
10
gonna
years.
say, I think that's
Oh,
longer
10
than-
plus.
That was an issue when I was, probably 12 years
So, yeah,
or so.
we're making progress.
All right.
To Vicky's point on the committee thing, you guys, like, I would just love to find ways to get more people involved, because it's like, sometimes it takes a village, right?
Yeah,
And, Ken did amazing work on these compacts.
Yeah.
I was really
Absolutely.
impressed, he took his own time to do it. So yeah, I mean, it's, for one person, it's not gonna be as simple as, I can write up a list and say, here you go. I would rather do some due diligence and figure out what's the assessment of these properties, where do we really wanna put the plan to? But it would be helpful to have, a buildings and grounds committee.
This social gathering that you have brought about before
Mm.
would be a very good place to bring this up. People would, you have some
Yeah.
ideas, something you'd like to improve or something like that, just make a wish list, work, something to work off. And you get people involved in it.
what kind of food makes people want to join committees?
Beer.
I've been.
Did you say beer?
Anybody who's actually been on one, you're gonna have to bring out the good stuff.
That's a good idea,
Okay,
I mean,
the food, the beer too, but.
the idea
Yeah.
is there.
Absolutely.
Trying to get people involved in it.
Yep.
This year's one of your biggest voting years too, so every time you got a vote, have lots of stuff hanging up, say, please join a committee.
That's
It's a good idea too, thank you.
I like that.
It's Gary, ain't it?
Maybe we
So-
we can table there.
Well, you think I'm gonna come up with a plan by the next workshop?
Oh, for
No.
10 years.
I didn't mean, I
She
meant
looks
like,
horrible.
as this, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to terrify you. I meant, if
You
I
terrified
volunteered
me,
my
I'm
time,
sneezing
could
on
I
that.
bring my folding table and talk about committees, people that are coming out.
Okay, so I actually
Sorry.
talked to Amber a little bit about maybe joining the library during their yard sale and setting up a table, and I was gonna do a
Ooh.
volunteer fair, like a job fair,
Yes.
but a volunteer fair.
I think a selectman should volunteer to do that.
Absolutely, but I do like
Which
the
one of you would like to
presidential
do that?
election.
One day.
I do.
I don't know yet. It'll be in
That
June.
was a good one.
I know you
I'm
will.
happy.
I love talking to people.
I will be in the book sale. That's where I'm
So,
chained to
oh,
at the yard sale.
On my breakup.
Set up-
I'll do it. I'd be
Yeah.
more
Okay,
than-
I think we've
Great
gotten
idea.
off topic.
I'd be more than
Yeah,
happy
no,
to
I'm
do it,
sorry.
but yes, we are off topic.
And I
but-
do still have the plan to go back to the transfer. I only made it there once last year to, solicit for emails and stuff, but I do have the intention. I have posters still at my house.
Sorry, I didn't mean to table the,
Yeah,
Go out there,
let's
like,
get back to
like,
the,
what?
Put on
Just make a whole.
a yellow shirt like ours, because when the other guy was up there trying to get his stuff, when he wore the yellow shirt, more people stopped thinking he worked there.
No.
Wear my vest, I got a vest.
safety vest with this.
Okay.
All right, let's get back to the
So
budget.
do you guys
More
want to
money.
keep the 15 in there and bring it around at the time that the two of you converge to meet?
I do.
I think I do too. At least to talk about it,
Yeah.
whether,
Maybe there's a compromise to be
Yeah.
had somewhere.
and maybe,
Okay.
maybe by then we'll know what we have money allocated for out of this year. So,
Well, it's like we've already talked about how we're gonna develop the plan, so the
Yeah.
goal is, we wanna get there.
Yeah.
I think sharing that information.
Yeah, I think that'll be helpful in itself.
Cool. All right, so let's just have a conversation. I like it. Okay. Outsourced. Did we already did that one? Okay, we're on to the last section of this piece. Love it. Page 30.
Oh, I love it when we get to the 30s.
Why, because there's 32 pages?
Two.
Oh, we are not even close to being done yet today. All right, so the CIP section, we've kind of gone through this a little bit. The town hall next phase, I put in another 50,000 into that. And then the trio, I think we're moving along in a good direction. I heard today that our test database for online payment processing. So you're in Florida, you can make your tax payment online. How about that?
Wow.
So we're in beta testing for that. I'm happy about that. The next thing is our real estate online module we purchased, and it's really helped because the real estate agents can get on there, the banks can get on there. Things have really quieted down. There is a new platform to that, and it runs a lot smoother, and it's called Hop. And to go from one platform to the other platform is $800 flat. I'd like to do that.
$100.
800.
Yeah, so,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought you said 100. 851?
800, and that will get us updated on that side of things. All right, AEDs,
Oh, wow, okay.
Oh, okay.
I see it. Took me a second.
so Randy came to me, they have an AED at the transfer station, which is now my office. The battery's dead, and the pads need to be replaced. So I went online, and that's $851. And the town hall doesn't have one at all. We're not required to have one because we don't have we don't have enough employees to be required to. So discussion. Is that something you would like to see us have?
Are we
It's
gonna
about
train people?
3,800 all outfitted.
Are we gonna train people?
I would like to see Matt. I'm trained. I'd like to see Matt. I think they
If we
would.
have resources to do that,
Mhm.
I would say yes.
Okay.
Don't disagree, but also isn't there some type of a maintenance, like an annual, will they check them? Somebody have that in mind?
Not that I know.
I'm trying to stay on topic, Ken, I'm trying.
From what I understand,
To check the
in every
battery.
place I've ever worked at, the AED normally stays on a box.
Yep.
The battery's good for X amount of years. When the battery goes, you gotta replace the battery. Pads are only good for X amount, once it's 2 years, then they need to be changed out.
Yeah.
Right.
But the unit itself is supposed to be,
We're rolling this out at my place of employment, and we've had some, but what we have is there's a vendor that just comes in and just does a once over of them, like once a year, just to make sure like this is legit. Because the last thing that you want is to have one and need it, and it doesn't
Right.
function when you go to use it.
I wanna say a weekend ago, we had a guy up at the transfer station that had a stroke.
Oh,
Yep.
You know, the ambulance was up, the guys, talked
They
with
were right
him, his
there.
wife. The wife called the ambulance, they came up, took him, but, one of the guys went over, stayed, with him until,
Perfect. But I guess like that's the point, right, is you have one at the transfer station now that.
right now it's
needs-
actually
that's-
internet.
Well, right, but you had one
Yep.
that
Needs to be
wasn't
updated.
functioning, right? That's my only concern, I'm not opposed to putting it in, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that.
I
we
think
have
it
a
goes
plan,
just
make
like
sure-
everything else. We need to have a program and plan.
Yeah.
That
And I
sits
think-
on some type of a list of,
Even if it's just we make sure that it's
yeah,
okay.
we
Like,
check
I
them
just
on a
don't want-
monthly basis to make,
Well, he's in the hospital.
It's kind of a little more.
Well, yeah. We have medical people all
So-
over the place.
So is it something you want to leave in at this point?
I am okay with that, yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Completely digress.
All right. So the meeting room, you guys have asked about projectors, screens, fingerprint logins, toggling, training, all that kind of stuff. And I added a last minute, this came in late.
These are things that, after talking with Brendan, he recommended.
Oh, okay, I
These
was gonna say, can
updates.
someone refresh me? on login?
Just-
Some of it has to do with dumbing stuff down and not to be mean to anybody, but we want it to be user friendly so that.
Like for me,
Yes.
I don't think you could enough.
Me too.
But you know, I want the most to get advantage of it that we can.
Fair.
So he put up his recommendations. He felt the fingerprint login was more secure. No sharing passwords.
Yeah, we do that now. So that would add $11,350
For all of it.
for
But
all
we
of
can
that.
X off some of these things. For instance, like, how bad do you want another camera facing the audience that we're toggling, you know, the video feed?
For 5,000, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Fine.
that.
That's all $5,000, you kidding me?
And who would be
Originally it
toggling
was
that?
20.
We can get a
Software
software program to do it,
That's
or
what,
a person can manually do it.
So let's go back to, we discussed this between projector, he's got projector and screen, and then a stand for the TV for additional projection. So the TV can,
So we have a TV, I don't know if he's talking about that TV that goes in the corner. We already purchased a corner
I-
mount.
no, this is just a stand for the TV.
Right, we don't need the TV.
Yeah, we would.
I understand that, but why do we need a TV and a projector? That's where my idea was, why don't we put the projector, put the screen up there, just use it on there? They're
I think,
Exactly.
if you hold on, I think, his thought process was, I don't know, some sort of universal use. Oh, okay, all right.
So-
Yeah,
That's just my guess, but that's what we had.
yeah, I remember we talked about the
About that, yeah.
TV and the projector, and I'm trying to recall the conversation we had, because my biggest thing was, at least for now, I wanted to see like a projector and stuff like that. I wasn't really too concerned with the TVs. It'd be nice to have something, I mean, the TVs, yeah, I think we had the idea, like with people zooming in, you could have them up on Zoom, so it's not like a voice coming out of a box, but it wouldn't be like my highest priority.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You know, with the TV, you can do everything you're doing on the projector, you do on the TV.
Right, I mean, I would
Why,
rather.
why, why
I would
wouldn't you make it
rather-
multi-use?
I would rather a projector, because you can take up that whole wall.
That's what we.
Okay, I just think,
So,
What, would you rather the TV?
I just think we have the technology here, we've invested a lot of money in it, and we're gonna spend another,
Well, we
you
did
know,
a projector.
$5,000 on something else.
I wouldn't be able, if I was sitting where you're sitting, I wouldn't be able to see what's on that TV if I was trying to read a Word document. So I'll give you an example. I helped Peggy set up the projector in here, and some of the, some folks were like, I can't see it, it's too small, and so we kind of Jimmy rigged it a little bit. I went into her Word doc and zoomed in, and so we made the print bigger. It was a much improvement to have large print, so I could sit over here and read what's on that. Because they're doing this like live editing like you guys did in the Charter Commission. So they go through, and I personally, I wouldn't be able to see a TV screen in that corner. I'd have to sit in front of the TV. Maybe that's where Brendan, I think you're right. Maybe Brendan was thinking a roll-on stand and you cart it around, but you're still gonna have somebody, sit in different seats.
it's got wires to drag around too.
Yeah.
I like that idea too, because you spoke about it, with the projector and, and that different committees can get use out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's more of a demand for some of this technology, which,
we could put this up there right now.
right, yeah, we could do our
It
budget
would be
thing.
huge.
So if people were watching on YouTube, they could probably see it.
It's
My
really,
place of business is going away from projectors.
Well, and
Because
we
it's
also
old
talked,
technology.
What are you doing with that instead though?
I'm down with the projector because he likes TVs.
well, and then I also talked to Brendan about a daylight projector. So like you wouldn't have to turn off the lights. It would have a daylight function too. So you could just see it up there.
Is that why the cost is so much for this one?
It's an additional
30.
$5,000.
So
Well,
that
you're
it's
getting
not
a-
just the projector, it's the projector and the screen.
This projector and the screen is 3,300.
Wiring and installations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask at the library because we just did, well, we had that projector.
Yeah, but yours isn't daylight.
Well, yeah, no, I mean that, but it,
Yeah.
and the screen that we got, I mean, we don't have that kind of budget
So
for the library, so.
are you guys thinking of axing $5,400 out of here?
I mean-
What is your pleasure at this point?
I gotta say, I'm tired of seeing the TV just sitting around, and I just feel like we should give that a chance before we go. Back to it.
Yeah, I-
'Cause that's a chunk of
Well,
money,
here's
but
the
that's
other
my
thing
own-
with the TV. Stand for TV, I need a line here. You need it, so he put an HDMI splitter. And the problem I'm having, like, I was trying to get, zooms up there on the TV so you can see the person, but the splitter we have is really wonky. You have to get like a higher end splitter. And so he put down, I see $800.
Yeah.
So that's for this HDMI so that you can get the TV operational, because right now you gotta troubleshoot. I hate doing it because if I get it up and running, I don't know if it's gonna work in the moment. And if it doesn't work, I have to troubleshoot what's wrong with it, and it's just frustrating.
So if we
and-
spend so here's a question, and maybe you don't know the answer, and that's okay. If we spent $800 on the HDMI splitter, that would be able to, we could project on that TV and this TV to get it mounted.
Right. Well, we already have the
Two
mount.
TVs.
I just need somebody to
So
install that
two
damn TV.
TVs, and then just like with Peggy's computer, you can make that a little bit bigger,
Mhm.
so you can see it in the back, and you can see it, so you can see it in two places, I guess is my only point.
Yeah, you could. That would be the goal. My only thing on that is like, if I were on a committee and we were like running through ordinances that we were editing, and I was sitting where Amber is, I just would not be able to read that screen or that screen. I wouldn't be able to
So
read
they
it.
can move, like,
I mean,
I'm
I
just
have
saying,
to
so
be in
here's the
front of
thing,
screen.
right? It's a step ahead of where we've been.
But if we
Right.
spend
So
the
it's
money, so
incremental
think about it.
progress.
We spend money on microphones that dropped out of the ceiling.
I was not part of
Didn't-
that.
I know you weren't. I'm just saying. We spent it, it didn't work, so trial and error, we got some other stuff, like, it's gonna cost money one way or the other, I mean, you can go trial and error and then find out it doesn't work and go back to your original
Well, we already
plan.
spent money on a TV, so we mount the TV and we try to use the TV, that's a step ahead of where we're at. That's the way I'm seeing this, I just,
Okay,
Well, I'm thinking about this whole
I
budget
remember.
and all the stuff that we've added to it, and I'm
Yeah.
going, something's gonna have to give
Like,
here.
when we sit back down again, it's like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
where are we
So-
That's when
slashing?
the
Where-
shop's gonna come.
so because we're getting into that day, how about we do this? We, with Brendan, take another look at this. And then we come back to you guys. Because I don't think you're gonna make an answer on salaries tonight either, so I think we're looking at least one more meeting.
I know
For
this is gonna
me,
be
the
a,
one who edits, the live editing, is live editing now for the committees and throwing stuff up there and setting up all the stuff. Every time I get here, it takes 20 minutes extra for me to do all that stuff. I can really truly speak from thinking people are gonna edit from TV. Now you're also talking to me as the editor, I gotta get close enough to see that. I have to frig with my computer to make it obscene size for me to even edit on the screen. It's not gonna match what I'm seeing up there. And people that go there, well, whatever going on my screen doesn't match what's going, it's really difficult even to get your computers to hook up to a TV that's up there. Because now you're talking, I'm editing from my computer half the time. Because I'm doing stuff on my computer on the screen. It's my personal computer. It's not the town's. So my computer now has to hook up to these TVs. The ratios don't always match. And then you get into that whole train wreck too, when you're the one doing the editing. If you want to dumb it down enough for anyone to jump on here and do it, you want a projector someone can plug their little thing in and go. You start messing with TVs and the ratios, they don't match, because that happened at my office too.
Two things to that I'll just say. Yesterday I went to the library, I brought my laptop, and there's a screen, and there's a cord that comes right out of it, and I go, bloop,
That isn't.
and I do it, okay?
that-
So the other piece of this, I'll just say, is if we're trying to dumb it down enough for anyone to do it, there's certain people that are just not even gonna attempt that, regardless of what we put there. Like, that's just the reality of it. And some committees are just gonna stick to things like this, and that's okay, as long as the work is getting accomplished. I don't know, I'm just,
It's fun and done prices and thought process too. I mean, there are ways to still save money, like some different size screen. Depends what size screen he's going for too, that I don't know, I haven't seen that.
Maybe we need
So
to
would the
clarify on it.
hospital like to donate one of their?
I was thinking that, I was like, oh,
projectors?
if you guys are getting rid of them, you want a discount one?
I don't know, I can't say. that. One
I
foot,
mean-
no.
You know, we try it at $800, but then it'll be not until the next budget if we decide like this doesn't work. I guess, I mean, I'm not the one really using it, but I am the one that has to like train people and I have to help them set up the room. So I had to take time out of my day to help Peggy. She was having trouble with the projector and the committee was complaining they couldn't see the screen, and I had to take time out of my day to try to troubleshoot some things to help her get it set up. And I don't mind doing that.
And that's my equipment, actually, the projector.
Right.
Well, yeah, I get that. I don't like if people using their own personal side.
I don't
I'm more
mind.
than willing
I
to
don't
give up
mind.
my laptop,
I don't mind being here.
dedicated to this. And of course, you can't see it up there because you got green walls. You don't have a screen. So, yeah, we're not set up for that right now. So it can be it's easy to be critical of what we have because you don't have the right stuff.
Even a screen would be better than nothing.
But I'd even want to take a table and set that other monitor up and just try it. And not for a committee meeting, just, bring Brendan in, we set up a computer, just so you can see what the resolution is, how big things are, to see the distance, walk the room and what have you. Don't invest any money, in it per se. It's just kind of do a trial run and see.
Well, and
I'm with,
this is coming out of capital improvement, and so it's one of those 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans.
I'm the same as Jessica's. I just sit here and I see that TV up there. I know one's in a closet someplace. There's just money been invested and we haven't utilized it. And I know it came from another board and it was another board's idea, with the technology they wanted to go to. Just try to make this one right this time. And I just want to make sure if we're going to go for another $5,000, that's really the way we want to go. And
Where's
We
the
can't-
$5,000? The $5,000 was the software.
Yeah, the software to
Yeah,
toggle,
scratch
like,
that.
yeah, that could.
no,
I
when
don't
you
care
add
about
the third,
You
All
got
right, are we
projector
taking that
38.
out? Can we all agree to take out the 5?
I
Yes.
think, yes,
Yes.
for,
So we're looking at,
oh, it's on here. The 30.
yeah,
3,300,
there's two numbers for
1,850.
800.
and 800. Yeah, it's
5,950.
$5,000.
I
It's
mean, we
almost
can, I
six.
don't have a problem doing that. Will I get that done before your budget? No. No, it's hard, I mean, it's hard to schedule Brendan in here and. So, whatever, I mean, if you guys wanna go to 800, try the
Did we just say
TV.
it's capital improvement though?
It's,
This
oh,
is
I'm
your
sorry.
1-year plan.
It says equipment.
Seriously, that's
Okay,
what
can we-
this section is.
So,
Can we just table this one for a little bit,
yeah, cause like,
Yeah,
please?
if it's a
to your next
capital,
meeting.
right, and if it's a capital improvement, and it's great to have a plan, but even still, there's still money sitting in capital improvement, so if halfway through the year, we're like, oh, the team didn't work, there's money in capital improvement, then we can still do something,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that makes
Not
sense, yeah.
necessarily.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna shove that section aside for right now.
It's been a week, I'm sorry.
We kind of went through some of these other things, impact printer for the front office, meeting room, blinds, poison ivy mitigation, the bandstand platform, the trail cams, we've gone,
Where are you? I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
No.
sorry.
She's going down page 31.
We went through all that,
she's
right?
quick.
Yeah.
You guys have
she's just
already
saying-
gone through
Oh, okay, I'm like.
I was following along.
You guys have gone through
Oh,
this in a previous meeting.
I know, right? Put it on the calendar.
Which one?
One with the stickers?
The tree maintenance, we went over.
I'm taking the sticker
Tires.
off of your bed.
No.
Here we
Okay,
go.
I'm
where's
sorry.
your gavel? Okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
Okay, I wanna make a rule that she never drinks another one of these before the meeting.
Listen, I usually up a little earlier in the day.
Well, okay.
All right, so we're, hello, page 32. People,
Yes.
Yes, tires for the
tires
backhoe.
for the backhoe, $3,000. Randy talked to the guy, he could paint the rims, even though we saw what they look like. So that line is $26,000. Thoughts?
I don't like it, but it's a necessary.
We've been kicking it down
Yeah.
the road way too long. It's kind of, you're now seeing holes through it and
The rust is starting,
Yeah.
open the door, you can see the rust starting on the
catching
floor.
up.
And so I just want to be clear too on this, that I know we have a price, but this needs to get put out to bid.
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay, there's only one person.
That's
If we get one bid, that's what we get.
Yeah, it's just.
I
a
can,
matter
I
of
can
putting
hear
out-
Randy behind me.
It's a matter of just
I
putting
can
out
hear
for my
Scott.
due diligence.
I would also
Chart
like to
says.
know what the actual cash value of the loader is as right now. Are we, and
They will know pretty well. Go ahead.
If
I
you
know
went
that,
to-
but-
If you went to buy a new one, which Waterboro just did, so you're looking at about 150,000. That one has 5,000 hours on it. I've been looking at used ones in the $45,000 to $50,000 range that had double the hours that we
Yeah.
have.
That's the
okay,
one.
just checking, because I know it's there. I've kind of seen it, but I have never
Yeah.
really, I mean, I know tractors and machinery fairly well, but I have never really put my eyes on that and looked at it, see what it is. So that's why I asked.
Oh, I
Do you
know,
still want us
you
to
gotta
do
try.
that?
No, you don't have to do that.
Especially for 5,000.
So we're sticking with it, moving it forward.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I think we made good progress there. Your second packet, we'll wait for Tom.
It's fine.
Hmm?
No, I need to get there.
Okay, sorry, no, you don't have to wait for me.
Now we'll wait for Amber.
I also would like to point out that Andy's drinking that freaking energy drink still too. It's just saying.
Oh, yeah.
It's quieter than me.
I see him with those first thing in the morning, I think he's hooked.
No.
No, we were waiting for you, Tom.
Order of eight. What are we doing? Oh, we done with this.
Yeah, done with that.
So now we're going to,
I think I'm at least.
Salaries and benefits, the final.
Yeah.
I told them mine.
we can look at it.
I want to. I've been looking forward to this.
We never looked at this.
That's part of the, I think we
From
got,
Lori.
I think we got the gist of
Yeah.
what needs to happen there,
Got it.
so.
Okay.
So now we're waiting for him. It's okay. If you need to, I mean,
So- Why? I don't know, we should blame both of us.
We'll get there, it's in scenario number 3 and 4.
Good, you're done a lot of it.
I go way, but I can do that stuff all the time.
It's just one thing that we didn't do.
It's pain.
I don't know.
You did, we're talking about it in the executive session.
Oh!
Doing it,
Oh!
and it's long term. It's not short term. I don't bother you when it's short term. Yeah. Jessica's like, I'm shutting up.
I don't.
Yeah.
Driver. Because I know with this,
Are
you
we
guys are
still
gonna wanna
on
take
live?
it.
You're still on live?
Probably.
Yes. We are, we're still live.
Yeah, we spent $4,000.
I love this.
We're taking a break for the moment. There. Now we're not taking a break.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and it's gonna
The
be
sheet is.
easier. Oh,
You
look
like
at,
my sheet?
I love the
See,
print
that's another
size.
reason.
The print is nice.
Okay,
I don't love this one.
all right, come to order, please. I just wanted to say that.
Can we reel it back in now?
So we're on to salaries and benefits. We've had a long discussion about recruitment and retention. Today, I just handed out at the two ends, they can meet in the middle. Just for your information, I didn't want to make a bunch of colored copies. This is something I haven't seen in a long time. This is the 8th time I've seen it this year. This is what we call a recruitment pamphlet. Come work for us, not just the job description, but this is why we're wonderful and we need you. This is the 8th one I've seen this year.
Really?
Not just for that kind of position, but for other positions as well. I haven't seen this since 90s. But that's where we are these days, is that it's come down to a recruitment pamphlet because things are that kind of tight. So,
It's bigger than a pamphlet, right? It's, when I interview people now, I'm selling them, not the other way around.
exactly,
And I hate it.
I know, it's not fun. But that's where we are right now. When Lindsay wrote the advertisement for an open position, we said, okay, we sat down and said, what do we have that other people don't? And let's throw that right on the top. So that's where we're at. So I just want to keep that stuff in mind as we go through this. Okay? So I did a summary sheet for you guys of the different scenarios that I drew up, because you asked me to do at least 2 scenarios, one with COLA and one with COLA and STEP. So that's the one on the front here. What I did was I took our information that we obtained from MRI, from our study. We have the position and the grade. I put in the min, the median, and the max for each step level. And then I based it out over 5 years. Okay? And trying to get from the minimum to the maximum, and kind of created a step table for you guys. A 5-year. Everyone following me?
Mhm.
Okay. So then on the detail for salaries, you asked me to do a COLA increase. That's scenario 1. And that's based off of current salaries. And as we go through this, anytime COLA shows up in these scenarios, it's based off of the current year. Because if you try to work in your step increase into your COLA, you're gonna find yourself chasing your tail.
Mhm.
I just wanna go over these for tonight, and then you guys can suck up the detail. You have a question?
Well, it's kind of a numb one. Can you,
There is no such
can
thing.
you briefly touch on what makes exempt and non-exempt the difference? Because I don't remember
Okay.
clearly.
So exempt and non-exempt, that's based on the Fair Labor Standards Act. The Fair Labor Standards Act basically came together and it said, okay, people of the United States of America, you're done trying to run somebody over for when they're working. So if you are a classification of, cash register, you're not exempt and you have to follow the Fair Labor Standards Act rules. Half an hour for break, overtime pay, those kind of things.
Okay, thank you.
That's exactly what it is.
Then
Sorry.
that's,
I'm sorry, I just,
No, okay,
hold on, non-HR people.
that's easy. Get there.
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
so essentially, there's a
So-
threshold, there's a dollar amount threshold for what makes mostly an hour.
So-
Well, there's also a classification.
Yeah.
If it's classified as professional, that everybody thinks, oh, if it's a supervisor, it's a salary. That's just a part of it. If it's classified as a professional position, so take mine, for example, I make decisions, I do the bank statements. If I just keyed AP and just keyed payroll, I'd be hourly. But I don't do just that. I do all of this other kind of higher level things. So that's what kind of pushes that to a different level.
so
That answer
exempt
you?
people, we don't pay time and a half to.
Correct.
They
No, they're
have to
salaried.
do the duties in that's a salary versus hourly, I get that, okay, thank you.
Thank you for chiming in, Jessica. I can get off on this failure of
And I can go with
LSA.
you. just don't
I know you
want to
can.
hang that long.
All right,
So, any other questions on that?
I was just enjoying the history lesson.
I bet you were, before you were like, how long are we gonna go tonight?
This
I
is
bet
going
that's
pretty
what we
good,
were
you know?
Okay, so
Tax
scenario
laws.
2, these are all in the exact same format. So scenario 2, you asked me to show you what's it gonna look like if you do COLA and a step. Again, COLA's
That's the
based on
second page, scenario 2.
scenario 2.
Okay, so typos there, scenario 2.
oh, yeah,
Just want to make sure there's on right.
Yeah.
Nope, that's okay. What?
You did such a great job.
I'm gonna fix it right now, there.
Are you on 3? Oh,
No, he says one on two.
I was really bad about it.
Oh, good.
Okay, so step 2,
Yeah.
step increase and COLA.
So with the step increases, just to give you some idea, we started this last year, we tried to get everybody to the median, but it doesn't necessarily fall on an exact step. So what I did with the step 1 is I tried to bring it to the next step. If they were so close to one step already, I brought it to the next step and tried to be fair about it. That's why I put in the column, dollar difference to next step, because it's not gonna be down the board.
Yeah, step stay tricky.
But just to get everybody on a step, some are gonna be 3 cents to get to your very top step. Some are gonna be a couple dollars to get to the next step. They're close enough to the first step, but they gotta get to the next step. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
does this mean that they top out the hourlies at 5, the 5
So you
plus
see.
5?
Yeah, that means they're tapped out. So you see where it says current step, Vicky?
Yep,
Okay, so current step, all steps go to 5 and that's it.
okay,
So if you're at current step 5, the only difference is going to be pennies because we weren't at that exact dollar amount. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, I was wondering about that, the 3 cents, it's like,
Right, so
that's,
based on the step scale, to get, if you're already on step 5, and the difference between the actual number on step 5 and the number that you're at is 3 cents, I put it in there. Okay? And then the next step is scenario 3, which is COLA, step increase, and your HR finance director, which you've been discussing. Okay, scenario 4 is step, COLA, HR finance director, and a part-time admin clerk, like we were just discussing about the assessor.
Alrighty then.
So if you look back to your
Getting
summary,
bigger.
huh?
That number just keeps getting bigger.
Well, of course it does, but go back to your summary sheet.
Oh, I know.
Go back to this summary sheet.
Mm.
So scenario 1, the difference between your current budget and your new budget with the COLA, you actually save $42,000. Step 2, scenario 2, step and COLA, between new budget, estimated budget, you save $21,000. Scenario 3, step COLA HR finance director, you save $11,000. Step 4, adding in the part-time assistant with all the other pieces, it's gonna cost you $17,000. And that's with your benefits.
And that's with like the increase to all the benefits pieces, right?
Correct.
Projecting.
The projections and stuff.
Yep, with the 6-month projections, with the change in salary, whether it's 457B or PERS, it's with
Or if
everything.
They don't take benefits, you know, there's all sorts of.
Yeah, there's all sorts of pieces to that. So which one do you wanna go with? I'm kidding.
As
Aren't you slick?
I'll be the first to say as always, heck of a job.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is
It
awesome.
makes it so easy
Yeah,
to look at.
yeah, I can't wait to go home and just look through everything. No, I gotta go right to bed. I gotta get up at 4 in the morning.
So I think somebody should make a motion.
No,
We don't motion that way.
it's a workshop.
We just take five.
Bye.
But
Thanks, Randy, for coming in.
So,
Thank you.
so
Thanks, Ken,
just
for the
getting
work
over
that you did,
Stratton Road, I'm done
all being
talking.
covered.
well, we're gonna need more meetings.
Need more budget workshops.
Need
More
okay,
workshops.
at least one.
At least one, and then we're gonna have to go.
You got one on Monday.
For the personnel.
Personnel.
Hey, guys.
But I'd like to,
Here. Hey, hello. Hey, called to order at a workshop.
We said it was over.
Anyways,
I was trying.
You're
I have to tell you, Michelle, your hair looks wild right now.
Oh, sorry.
It's nice. I like it. I'm just saying, it looks,
End of the day.
I like it.
That's what he's back.
All right, let's toss out some dates. Budget committee has next Wednesday. I cannot do Tuesday. Brandon really won't kill me.
plus we already have a
And-
workshop next week anyway.
Yeah, Monday.
And budget committee has the 11th.
So we're already on Monday.
Mhm.
You're looking at the week ahead of that. We're Wednesday. Yeah, but Bucknut is Tuesday, right?
Bucknut is, we can move to the library. There's a lot of us that we could do it.
Tuesday the 27th.
What day?
No, I can't do that day, unless you want to take it.
This is the community.
Yeah, but Jeanette just said that she can't do that. Or if you're talking about your budget
Yeah.
meeting or Bunganut?
Bucknut.
Oh, Bunganut could go. I'd have to.
Tuesday, she can't do Tuesday.
And she won't do it by
Oh,
herself.
okay.
Sorry. You did all that nice work.
That's why we make a good team.
And we're moving, we got the election and stuff that next week.
Right, so
Hmm.
we have our meeting on the 7th, our regular meeting. Unless we wanna do Wednesday the 6th, but we go to like the library or something, because the planning board's here.
Yeah, I can't do, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, and I have the 12th, which is a Tuesday, or, oh wait, the 11th is budget,
Mhm.
12th is open, which is a Tuesday.
I'm on
Yeah.
vacation that week, which.
Yeah, I
no one
can't
else
do-
can do it, that's fine.
I
So
can't
it's not, I mean,
do the 14th,
Which Friday? What do you-
the
I'm
March.
not proposing
March
any Fridays
14th.
ever again.
No Fridays.
March 14th, it's a Thursday. I can't do Tuesday and Wednesdays.
And
Oh,
if everybody else can do it, that's fine, I don't.
We'll be
I don't
doing
have to wait on
personnel
that.
that day.
But you won't be here then.
I'll be in Myrtle Beach with my family.
with my phone on. Then I have the
Probably
19th,
not.
which is a Tuesday, that's open.
Uh,
The
We're getting too
18th is
far
your
away.
regular meeting.
It's getting,
we're
yeah,
getting too far away.
I know.
Yeah, by all means, but go ahead without me, like,
Um,
I'm not.
this may be an unpopular suggestion. It's kind of important.
It's very important.
What about 29?
I was
Well,
just
Monday.
thinking Thursday the 29th.
And we flip the,
Yeah, what if we put away the personnel policy and do the budget
Oh,
instead?
gotcha.
I know it would be
Monday.
unpopular
I
with
could do
somebody.
that.
I'm gonna duck.
Could we-
No, I'm okay with that, I do
Or
want to
what
get
if-
personnel.
Yeah.
policy
Yes.
What
done.
if we do it and if we crank through budget, we can start personnel?
Is this the last thing or is there a couple little things here? This is the biggest thing left.
You have that, and we have to talk about what we just tabled with the.
Yeah, That's
projected
it, those two
that's it.
things.
Yeah.
Thursday,
Well,
the 29th is open, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I
but-
could do Thursday the 29th if everybody else could.
And we can do the budget on Monday, see what we get done, and maybe do a tentative Thursday.
Well,
one.
maybe we start on the,
Start with the budget,
Let's-
no, do the
Start.
budget
Yeah,
and start on the,
right,
yeah.
because I
That's
think
it.
budget
Or-
will quit,
But
Yeah.
if we plan the
we
budget
have everything in front of us.
instead of personnel policy on Monday,
right,
we'll play that by ear. But we'll tentatively schedule a workshop, whether it's one or the other,
Right.
Yeah, for-
in that
Who knows, yeah,
whatever day we can, because you can't do Tuesday, but Lindsay could.
right.
Right, isn't that what you said? So,
And
I
then
mean,
Wednesday,
technically, we could do 2 nights in a row. I want to get this stuff done. I'm not
sure,
I
adverse
think that, I don't
to
think
it.
this
There's
is
not
gonna
enough
take more
days
than
in the week.
A half an hour,
I can do
these two issues.
alright, so Monday, for sure.
Yeah, let's do
And
Monday.
tentative Thursday, is that what we're holding to?
But I would like to get the personnel policy.
Yes, and I think that's important too.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I know that you put a lot of work into it. I can see it. But we're,
Oh, yeah, we're
we're,
so
I
close
was,
to this.
yes, and that's
Yeah,
why I'd
'cause
like,
then we gotta get together with the budget committee and so we got,
yeah,
Yeah.
so there's more that, I think the
And
budget,
So
should be
I
the
think we
priority
said
of the
March
moment.
19th. Do you want to do that as your joint meeting?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
While we're talking about it, you
We
can
can
say
do
Tom.
a
now.
tentative.
I got it. I think I'm out of town. I'm looking for
You're
my-
already picking joint meeting.
oh, and you wanna be there.
Well,
for that.
try.
I do want-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm out of town. in
Looking for
March.
my reservation.
Oh,
you guys together?
No, we're not.
No, we're
Just
not.
so everybody
I'm in
knows.
Florida, she's somewhere else.
Since 1970,
Okay.
we just landed
So
on the
what day
moon.
were you talking?
That was
Since-
it.
First time since 1972.
Oh.
Unmanned
She's out.
spacecraft just landed on the moon at 6:30 tonight.
oh, wow,
Really?
cool.
I
Private.
remember the world stuff. I was little
Yeah.
and we were all framed in the room. watching
Oh, no, I
the
am here on
TV.
week.
Yeah, but.
Okay, I'm going
I
the
still
10th.
have, the way I
As long
have
as we don't
them.
put it in the book.
Nice.
26 was
Someday
for
when the
21st.
kids can find it.
Oh, the 19th is a Tuesday, so that would be, I can't do
the
that.
26th for joint session.
Where are we at?
You want us to put it on the calendar.
To do the joint budget
Right.
and select board, but Tuesday and Wednesdays are just, they're very difficult for me.
March gets crazy with me.
Yeah.
It's an airplane.
Final approach.
No,
I'm in Maine.
it's really close.
Maybe.
Here, you hear that here?
Yeah,
All the time? Really?
not all the time.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm open to the 26th. Or even the 25th. Yeah, 25th.
So tentatively, 325, 326.
325, 326 for joint.
325.
Yeah, let's do the 25th. It's a full moon.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's a full
Tonight's a full moon
I
too.
don't know.
Isn't it close to it? Oh, Saturday.
The 25th joint? Yeah.
March 25th, okay.
Joint, you wanna do
My
6
my schedule
PM?
varies, so I don't know.
Great.
And then we said tentative
Joint
229.
budget placeholder.
Tentative.
Yeah, which day is that?
Placeholder, that's a placeholder.
Monday, March
In my
25th.
calendar. Eric's over there writing in pen, so.
Thursday the 29th is the
Okay.
tentative one.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna put workshop.
Oh, wait, 29th is a Friday.
You won't
I'm
keep
sorry,
this?
No.
28th.
No, I'm all
I can
set.
make arrows.
No.
Okay, so-
Oh, February, sorry, it's Thursday the 29th.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I thought we were doing the 29th this
Can
month.
scribble out
This
arrows
is the
too.
month, the March.
And that's 6 PM.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah, till I see Russell.
When